Hello fans, followers, customers worldwide. We welcome you today in the dining room here at Edge Performance to present you one of the strongest Cupra VZ5s we ever made. This car has our 707 horsepower street legal TUV approved stage in. So all the goodies that we have for this platform to make them really fast and street legal. We highlight again that this car is running oxygen particle filters and catalytic converters and still runs pump fuel and jumps into the 700 horsepower, over 800 Newton meters of torque over a range for more than 3000 RPM. How is it possible? Let's go into the details. So we have the engine reinforced by our H Performance Engine Pack 1, using all the replacement and spare parts, seals, gaskets, whatsoever that Audi is using from factory as well. No aftermarket, just OEM Audi parts, and we have our H Performance rods in, which are slightly shorter than stock ones, and that helps us to achieve a compression reduction from 10.0 to 9.7. So we go down with the compression level. Why are we doing this? Simple. The guys running pump fuel in these cars, and pump fuel tries to knock more than alcohol blended fuels. What is knock? Again, knock is a detonation in the cylinders in a moment that you don't want to have it. Either it's too early or it's too late. And the worse the fuel quality is, the less resistant against knock it is. So everything that drops down compression level makes it easier to resist against knock, and that helps us to tailor the ignition and the boost curve and to make solid power like in this car. So the main thing, compression reduction, engine reinforced. Then we have the X8 hybrid turbo. We need to highlight this again, guys. The X8 is one of the best pieces of chocolate hybrid turbos you can get out on the market. 707 horsepower, or in this case even a little bit more, with oxygen particle filters and catalytic converters is only, but really only possible if you have a turbine set up in your turbocharger that's really soaking up the exhaust gas back pressure and soaks up the exhaust gases from the cylinder head. If you think you can run with any standard aftermarket hybrid, in the meanwhile there are more than 10-15 suppliers of hybrid turbos, that any of those can make 700 horsepower with catalytic converters and oxygen particle filters, yes, try and error, you will see it will not work. This is a turbocharger that we developed over 2 years, and this turbo is really, it's state of the art in terms of back pressure control. And we had so many revisions, we tested so much. This is the reason why we can run with oxygen particle filters and catalytics, sorry for saying it again, in this car, make over 700 horsepower. What else we have in here? A 5-inch intake system, open intake system, air guide, air baffle, all stuff that you know already. Catch tank, billet intake, manifold, intake, 4-inch exhaust system. What a nice sound comes out of that exhaust. Yeah, you'll see it later in the video. It's just amazing, and this car is really transforming into a beast with this setup. The highlight of the car for sure is the front mount intercooler. Let's have a look. So as you know, these cars from factory are running the same intercooler than a Mark 7 GTI or Mark 8 GTI. So it's the long and small intercooler which is mounted here in the front, and it's clamped in between climate cooler and water cooler. So it does not really have the capacity to cool the stock power over time. And I can guarantee you, if you go over 500 or even into the 600, or you dream of 700 horsepower and still think this is possible with an upgrade intercooler in the size of a Mark 6 or Mark 7 GTI, forget it. Totally impossible. You're running boost levels way beyond what these intercoolers can handle. It's also about volume, it's about the end tank design, and it's also about the internal flow. And these intercoolers, they cannot handle 600 or 700 horsepower. It's quite impossible. A Garrett 900 core, which is installed here, which is the base of our intercooler, is defined by Garrett, one of the biggest suppliers of aftermarket and OE turbocharger equipment. They rate these cores for 900 horsepower, and this is why we say yes, it's suitable for 707 horsepower. It will cool it over time anyway. So that's an intercooler, and you see this intercooler is really catching up everything we have in terms of opening in our front. We don't have more than that, and we tailored it to fit exactly in that position to get every possible air into this car and make the 707 horsepower possible. This car also has the upgraded charge pipes, boost pipes, so we run with an 80mm outlet of the intercooler on top to the billet elbow and into the billet intake manifold. So this is really optimized to the roof, and that's why this car makes the power which we have. How much power do we have? Let's have a look. We have 715 horsepower by 800, close to 30 Newton meters in a range of close to 3000 RPM. We are running more than 800 Newton meters of torque. Guys, this is just so phenomenal strong. If you drive these cars, you know, it just feels like, it's like a rocket. The 707 horsepower feels like a rocket and it sounds like a rocket. Many may ask, yeah, 700 horsepower, that's not new to the world. We have DASA seen with 1400. Yes, please note, it's street legal, running all the emission components, the catalysts, the oxygen particle filter, like it's factory-wise. And we have no alcohol blend in here. It's just pure pump fuel. And to get this done, you really need to tailor everything to the optimum. The VZ5, let's just have one word about that, is in terms of thermic and in terms of temperature, a little bit problematic because simple, look at this. If we have it in the dyno room, just for instance, our air blower, and here is the height of the front, and you see compared to an TTRS or to an RS3, here's a height difference of at least 15 to 20 centimeters. So all of that and the deep position of the engine, it's so down low here, that's problematic because either one way here in the dyno it's problematic because we don't get it cooled so good compared to an TTRS or RS3. On the RS3 we hit with the air fan, we hit the manifold, the cylinder head, the intake, we hit this in the airflow. Here everything is too much down in the engine bay. So this is kind of problematic. And also on the motorway, in the long-term tests, in the high-speed tests, we see that those cars really tend to run a little bit warmer than an RS3. So it's even more complex to release the power out of these ones. But we have it done, and that's a result of a long development. If you just focus on one engine, one platform, one system, and then you can control this, and then you get it under control. How fast it is, oh my God, just have a look on how it sounds. Yeah. You'll hear it in the video. Guys, thank you for watching. I hope you can see us in one of our next videos again. Just stay tuned to the 5-cylinder. Take care. Cheers. Bye-bye.